Hi guys! Welcome back sa ating mga kaabogada ng bayan. And our topic for today is self-defense or kailan nagiging justifying circumstance or kaya nawawalan ng criminal liability ang isang tao gamit-gamit ang defense. So ito ay nasa Article 11 ng Revised Penal Code of the Philippines. Dito sasagutin natin kung ano-anong klaseng depensa ang pwedeng gamitin. Dito tatalakayin natin yung self-defense. Paano naman kung ang ipinagtanggol mo ay relative? Mawawalan ka rin ba ng criminal liability dito? Paano naman kung hindi mo relative, hindi rin yung sarili mo yung pinagtanggol mo, but in defense of a stranger, then would that be a justifying circumstance para matanggal yung criminal liability? So, samahan nyo ako guys. Let's go! So, dun sa tatlong nabanggit natin kanina, which are self-defense, defense of a relative, and defense of a stranger, may dalawa silang common requisites or denominators. So, unang-una, in order for a person to avail a justifying circumstance of defense, kinakailangang maipakita na mayroong unlawful aggression. So kapag sinabi nating unlawful aggression, ito yung may pagsalakay, ito ay labag sa batas, or ibig sabihin nito ay sinugod or inatake bigla yung taong na-attack na may masamang motibo. Ma-apply ito dun sa tatlong defense na nabanggit natin kanina. And yung second requisite na common to all is yung tinatawag nating reasonable necessity ng means na in-employ to prevent or repel yung unlawful aggression na yon. So kapag sinabi nating reasonable or necessity, kinakailangang magkaroon ng action yung taong ina-attack to prevent yung unlawful aggression. And dapat reasonable siya. Ibig sabihin, kung yung taong umatak is wala namang dalang baril or wala siyang dalang armas, pero ang ginamit na pang defense is baril or binaril ito, would that be reasonable necessity? Ang sabi ng batas is hindi. So dapat yung defense na ginamit or yung means na ginamit to prevent such aggression would just be reasonable enough to prevent kung ano yung ginamit nung ma-attack. Ang unlawful aggression may be actual or imminent. May actual na pagsugod or nasaksak na, and imminent means pagbabadyang panganib. So not necessarily means na nasaksak ka na, tsaka ka palang didepensa. Pag sinabi nating imminent, there's an imminent danger to your life that made you make such defense. So nabanggit natin kanina na ang unlawful aggression is something na from the word itself, it's unlawful. So the act of shouting back does not constitute yung actual or imminent unlawful aggression kasi wala naman siyang physical force or wala namang weapon na ginamit yung attacker which would endanger yung buhay or which would endanger or which would hurt yung limb nung taong ina-attack. Yung aggression dito may have something to do with danger to your life or limb. So unahin natin yung defense of a relative. Kapag ba ipinagtanggol mo yung relative mo, nanganib yung buhay nung taong or nung aggressor because of the defense na ginawa mo, would you be liable for criminal offense or not? Ang sabi ng batas, defense of a relative is justifying circumstance. provided na anyone who acts in the defense nung person or yung karapatan ng kanyang spouse or ascendant or kaya nung descendant, it could be anak or apo, brothers and sisters. Number 5, yung relatives by affinity in the same degree. Pag sinabi nating relatives by affinity, ito yung mga kamag-anak ng spouse. So, in the same degree, ibig sabihin, nung the same degree nung nasa taas, which are ascendants of the spouse, descendants of your spouse, and the brothers and sisters of the spouse. And kapag yung ipinagtanggol mo is a relative by consanguinity within the 4th civil degree. So, ito ay pinsan up to the second cousin. That's a relative of consanguinity within the 4th civil degree. Ang tanong dito, if pinsan ng spouse mo, would that fall as a defense of a relative? Ang sabi natin kanina, kapag relative by affinity, it must be in the same degree. So, it must be either ascendant, descendant, or brother and sister ng asawa mo. Kapag pinsan na ito ng asawa mo, it would fall as defense of a stranger already. Pero kapag ito ay pinsan mong buo or second cousin, then that would still fall as a defense of a relative. So, para makompleto natin yung tatlong requisites and maging justifying yung pananakit or pagkapatay dahil sa pag-defend ng isang relative, apart from yung may unlawful aggression coming from the attacker, a reasonable necessity of the means employed ng taong dumidepensa, kinakailangan the person making the defense had no provocation or has no part on the provocation if yung ipinagtanggol niya na relative ay siya yung source ng provocation. So, sinasabi natin dito, kahit na yung spouse, yung cousin, yung brother or sister is the source of the unlawful provocation, dapat yung taong dumipensa or yung relative na dumipensa has no part dun sa provocation na ginawa nung taong ina-attack or yung taong dinidepensahan niya. Pag yung taong dumipensa has part of the provocation, then that would not fall as a defense of a relative. Ibig sabihin, he would be liable criminally. Paano naman kung yung taong dinipensahan is not on the list of those considered relatives? Then magfo-fall siya as a defense of a stranger. Mawawalan lamang ng criminal liability yung taong nagtanggol kapag hindi siya motivated by revenge or meron siyang sama ng loob dun sa taong uma-attack. So, pinagtanggol niya yung stranger being attacked dahil meron siyang sama ng loob dun sa attacker, then that would not fall as a justifying circumstance. Or meron siyang other evil motive para saksakin din or para patayin yung attacker, then pag napatunayan niyan sa court, he will not be exempted from criminal liability. And last is yung self-defense. So, apart from the two requisites na na-mention natin kanina, na dapat merong unlawful aggression, may reasonable necessity para ipagtanggol niya yung sarili niya because of an actual or imminent danger sa sarili niya and sa katawan niya. Kinakailangan there must be lack of provocation on the part of the person defending himself. So, ang ibig sabihin nito, hindi siya yung unang umatak. And he was just there to protect himself. So, in this video, natutunan natin na hindi lang self-defense yung pwedeng makatanggal ng criminal liability kapag yung isang tao ay pinagtanggol niya ang isang kamag-anak, which who are on our lists of defense of a relative, and kapag ipinagtanggol niya yung isang stranger, then mawawalan siya ng criminal liability so long as those requisites na na-mention natin kanina are all present. Kapag isa sa kanila is missing, then it may just mitigate or mababawasan lang yung kanyang criminal liability or bababa yung kanyang sentensya, but there would still be criminal liability. So yung main things to remember, dapat merong unlawful aggression or yung labag sa batas na pag-atake ng taong aggressor, and there should be a reasonable necessity. So para ipagtanggol yung sarili niya or yung stranger or yung kanyang relative, and dapat yung taong nagtatanggol sa kanyang sarili or kanyang relative has no part of the provocation or wala siyang ill motive para patayin yung aggressor. So, ayun guys, I hope may natutunan ulit tayo dito sa defense as a justifying circumstance, and you may share this video to your friends and relatives who may need this information. And till next time, maraming salamat and God bless everyone.